Good morning, Pelham Road. Get ready to move a little bit because here comes a little sister act for you. Beautiful song, gives you a little inspiration. Get up out of bed, get up, sleepyheads. It's time to get on with our Tuesday. All right. This morning, I think I left it inside. Well, I'll bring it to you tomorrow. Forgot to bring it out here today. In the comment section below today, we're thinking about people who've been an inspiration to us. And yesterday we talked about educators, and thank you for the names you gave. But today, in the comment section, provide the name of a person who has been a spiritual inspiration to you. Someone whose life or their words or their guidance has inspired you. All right, put their name in the comment section below. All right. Before there was Hitler or Stalin or Pol Pot, there was Antiochus IV Epiphanes, which is a mouthful to say, especially this early. He was a king appointed over the area of Palestine. It was in about the hundreds BC. The Jewish and non-Jewish historians agree that this was a deceitful, wicked, hateful man. The rabbis of his day actually gave him a nickname. He was called the Wicked. He persecuted the Jews without mercy or without conscience. It is during that time that we believe the book of Daniel was written. Now, the first 6 chapters of Daniel outline the conflict that happens when a cruel government, void of morality, comes into conflict with people who have values. And I bet you probably know the rough outline of the story, but you may not actually know the context. During a time when the people were being severely persecuted by this corrupt ruler, Antiochus, a writer, a prophet, storyteller emerges with a most colorful and inspiring story that he wants to share in this most difficult time. And the story, once it was told, spread like wildfire, and you can see why. I mean, it's a powerful story. It goes something like this. There were these 3 young men who lived out by their values, and it shaped them both internally and external. Now, King Nebuchadnezzar is the setting for this, and they would have heard Antiochus. They wouldn't have heard Nebuchadnezzar. They knew exactly who he was talking about. He set up this golden image on the plain of Dura, and he commanded all of his officials to go down and bow before it. And anybody who failed to bow would be thrown into the furnace. The king was told that there were 3 Jewish holdouts. We know them by their names, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, whom the king had really appointed to some high offices in Babylon. But they were refusing to follow the king's instructions and worship this golden statue. And these 3 were brought before Nebuchadnezzar. This is them on trial before Antiochus. This is what the people would have heard. This is what happens when you live out your values in a day when the government is corrupt and has no values. Well, Nebuchadnezzar, after speaking with them, commanded that they be thrown into the fiery furnace. Now, the people, of course, reading this would have thought about their own persecution and how they were being persecuted under this cruel king. And he asked them to heat it up 7 times hotter than normal. And as the story unfolds, all went as planned. Well, until the king looked into the furnace after a while, and he saw 4 figures. And they were unharmed. And he says, this is his quote, the 4th was walking around like the Son of God. Now, seeing this, Nebuchadnezzar brought the youths out of the flame. He invited Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to come forward from the furnace. He promoted them to even higher office. And he decreed that anyone who spoke against God should be torn limb from limb. still not a very kind person. Now you could see why this story would have been told and retold. In difficult times, words of hope and inspiration lift our spirits. It is not likely that the people who originally read this material all of a sudden were no longer persecuted. No, they continued to get persecuted. But they found comfort in this story because now they knew that their persecution wasn't a waste and they weren't by themselves. They were not alone. The God we talked about yesterday that comes to dwell with us and live in our tent with us, this God was with them, even during this time when they were being treated cruelly and painfully hurt. God had not abandoned them, but was in the furnace with them. Have a great day.